In a week where we saw Ricky Starks and Miro released from their AEW contracts, Malachi Black finally had his AEW contract expire, with all of them potentially ending up in WWE, as we saw, the first of which, Ricky Starks, showed up on Tuesday night's NXT, February 11th. Now we are talking about potentially Rey Fenix being let out of his AEW contract. What is the latest there, and what is the mindset for Tony Khan, as Tony Khan and Rey Fenix reportedly are in negotiations to see him become a free man, hopefully very, very soon. I got the latest on Rey Fenix right here on Off the Script. Josh Alexander, a free agent from TNA Wrestling. Where is he going to end up? I'll give my thoughts and opinions on that. Is Malachi Black and Miro in the process creatively being integrated into WWE's main roster television? I got the latest on that. And we have a story here on departures from WWE. Which of the three does WWE management find to be the most surprising? I got all that and more right here on today's Off the Script. We'll start with Josh Alexander. Big fan of Josh Alexander. Unbelievable wrestler is Josh Alexander. Hey, man, what's going on, guys? Listen, I'm JD from New York. I appreciate all the support, man. I appreciate you being here. I apologize for interrupting your viewing experience, but unfortunately, I'm going to file this one into card subject to change. Like a dumbass, I recorded this video on Friday morning for Saturday morning upload. I mean, fuck me, right? Fuck me trying to get ahead of the curve and trying to get my work done in a timely fashion so I can enjoy my fucking weekend. Apparently, the news you're about to listen to from yours truly is now unfortunately outdated. So the Josh Alexander news and opinion that you're about to hear is not him going to WWE. Josh Alexander, as reported on Friday afternoon by Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select, Josh Alexander is going to sign a contract with All Elite Wrestling. So, unfortunately, everything you're about to hear is going to change regarding this news. So, I hope you guys still enjoy the video. Take it for what it is. It's my opinion on where I thought Josh Alexander would perform best and where he would be used best creatively. But unfortunately, as the news broke on Friday afternoon, Josh Alexander is not going to WWE. He will not be in NXT. He will be, unfortunately, with AEW, becoming one of Tony Khan's newest, shiniest, most expensive new toys for AEW. Still enjoy the upload, and thank you guys for being here. Always appreciate the support. He's now a free agent, as his contract with TNA Wrestling expired on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. Alexander initially gained recognition as part of the tag team with Ethan Page, known as The North, where they held tag team championships on 2 different occasions. He also won the X Division title before becoming the World Heavyweight Championship, or champion in TNA. His second reign lasted 335 days. This was previously reported by PWInsider.com. Alexander listed Barry Bloom as his agent to handle the negotiations for his upcoming next deal. WWE and AEW are expected to both be interested in Josh Alexander. Barry Bloom handles the likes of Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, basically all of the Elite, Jim Ross, and other notable, powerful names in the pro wrestling industry. He handles the negotiations for all of their contracts. Alexander posted a farewell to TNA after his last match with the promotion that aired on Thursday night, where he battled Eric Young one-on-one. I'm not going to read through it all. I'll leave you guys the tweet on screen right now. You could read along with that if you want. Stop the video if you want to read along with that. Or you guys can simply go to his Twitter page after this video concludes and go read Josh Alexander's goodbye to TNA. It's basically a career retrospective going through the beginning stages where he met Scott D'Amore. He got a TNA contract. He was injured but didn't want to tell anybody that he was injured. He went on to win the tag team championships with Ethan Page, the world championship in TNA, to where he is right now. And all he wanted to do was wrestle and make his peers happy. And it's not about the money. He details in this tweet, it's not about the money at all. He says, as they say, then the work began. I showed up in TNA because of my time over the 14 years. I had already the trust of many in the locker room. They knew I was capable, coachable, reliable, and was willing to go out and at least give everything I had, whatever the job was that night. It was never about fame to me, and still isn't to this day. I just want to wrestle and earn the respect of my peers, and it's not about the money. It's not about the money, and I did not want to be the most recognizable star. It wasn't about the fame, and it still isn't to this day, he says in this tweet. Listen, a little bit about Josh Alexander. I mean, it went over a couple of his accolades in this report, and I want to make sure you guys understand how good Josh Alexander is. Two-time Impact World Champion, X Division Champion on one occasion, Impact Tag Team Champions twice with Ethan Page, the North. Great fucking tag team. 9th Triple Crown Champion in TNA wrestling history. Tag Team of the Year in 19 and 20 with Ethan Page as the North. Male Wrestler of the Year in 21 and 22. Men's Match of the Year in 21 with TJP. Match of the Year in 22 with Mike Bailey. And Moment of the Year in 22, defeating Moose to win the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. I know a lot of people are instantly going to say, well, AEW is the best fit for him. I disagree. I don't think AEW is the best fit for Josh Alexander. I don't want to put words in the man's mouth. I don't want to make career decisions for anybody. This is just my opinion. This is my pro wrestling opinion from what I see from my eyes. AEW is not the right place for him. It's not. They got like a dozen Josh Alexanders. Just like they got a dozen Will Ospreys and a dozen Ricochets. They don't need another name that is going to get lost in the shuffle. If it's not about the fame, if it's not about the money, I don't see why you would not go to WWE and begin anew in NXT. He says it's all about letting the work speak for itself. So let the work speak for itself. What exactly are you going to do if you go to AEW? Oh, man, gee golly, man, it's where the best wrestle. Well, what are you going to do? They can't even find TV time for fucking 80% of the roster that they currently employ right now. They're going to bring you in to do what? I mean, apparently Mike Bailey was still on his way to AEW. We've yet to hear a fucking word about Mike Bailey. Like they're going to give a fuck about Josh Alexander. Do you want to show up to work and be creatively satisfied? Do you want to go to work and be fulfilled, have your heart be filled? You lay your head down to sleep after the end of a great day of work. Do you want to be creatively satisfied? Then don't go to AEW. That's all I got to tell you. Again, they have so many problems. They got a bloated roster. Him going there, he's going to instantly get lost in the shuffle. Sure, man, gee golly, he's a great pro wrestler, but he could be a great pro wrestler and stand out and be his own man and not be compared to 12 other fucking people in WWE. He can go and do that. And I've always said how much I loved the North. The North is great. Ethan Page isn't lighting the world on fucking fire. They gave him an NXT championship for whatever fucking reason. I mean, holy shit. I mean, that roster is down in the dumps as far as the male side of things at the top of the card. Ethan Page was the world fucking champion. Ethan Page is not doing much on his own. Josh Alexander walks in, you get the North back together, man. They run that division on day one. They're tag team champions on day one. They make the tag team division in the entire company as credible could be. This is basically you finishing an indie game and competing at the final boss level in TNA. It's all right to start a new game and start at stage one again, man. You'll be walking into stage one with all the fucking cheat codes. He's a star in the making. He's a great pro wrestler. He's a great promo. He's got fucking the attitude and the locker room leadership that is sorely needed in a locker room no matter what. So he's already ahead of the curve. So go to WWE where you're going to get everything that you want. Don't go to AEW because if you do end up there, I guarantee you're going to get lost in the How many talents do they need? I mean, look at the talents that they don't have on television. Now you're going to replace somebody else with Josh Alexander. Another guy gets shoved down the ladder. Oh, man, here's another one of Tony Khan's fucking overpaid toys. How many more are going to come in? And how many more opportunities am I going to see fly out the fucking window? That's the best thing for him. WWE, NXT, best thing for him. North, run that division, and then build your equity, build your name, and then eventually that breakout singles guy that we've seen in TNA, we'll see it on the main roster, man. Imagine that. That's the way to go. That's what I think is the best for him. I hope to see that. I'd love to see the North back together in WWE. And the fact that he's got Barry Bloom, he's going to get paid regardless. He's going to get whatever he feels he deserves regardless. So hopefully that is the case. If you're Jordan Grace, she may have given us a glimpse into what is going on here with Josh Alexander. She tweeted on this thread, this career retrospective that he posted on social media, "See you soon, bro," is what she said. Now, is she trolling the fans? Is she having fun with the geeks online? Or is this a little hint into where he's going to end up? Because Jordan Grace just signed a 5-year deal with WWE. Does that mean Josh Alexander is soon on his way to WWE? I'll keep you guys posted, but Vengeance Day is looking to be quite interesting, honestly. Something I may actually decide to cover on Saturday night. So we'll see what happens there. With Ricky Starks and now Josh Alexander and Jordan Grace all looming, could see a resurgence on Tuesday night at the Performance Center with NXT. Speaking of free, Rey Fenix may be free. Rey Fenix may soon be gone from AEW. According to Dr. Chris Featherstone of Sportskeeda, negotiations between Tony Khan and Rey Fenix over Fenix's departure from AEW are progressing, and the two sides are expected to reach a resolution in the near future. Dr. Chris Featherstone tweeted on social media, as you guys see on screen right now, AEW sources have informed me that negotiations between Tony Khan and Rey Fenix to end Fenix's tenure with the company are progressing, and the resolution is expected to happen soon. I was also informed that Tony Khan has been heavily advised to put an end to this soon regarding Fenix's holding period. Talks between Rey Fenix and AEW come after All Elite Wrestling released Miro and Ricky Starks, two talents who were not being used by the promotion and had previously asked for their releases. Malachi Black also exited the promotion after his contract expired. Rey Fenix has not been used by AEW since July 2024, and AEW added around a year of injury time to his deal, which will keep him under contract well into 2025. Time was added to Fenix's deal, reportedly due to AEW discovering that Fenix and Penta had been in talks with WWE while under contract with AEW. Penta ultimately exited the company in December of 24, making his WWE debut the week following the Netflix premiere from Monday Night Raw. He has been a featured performer on Raw ever since. I don't know what is happening in AEW, but I like it. I do. Tony Khan is not making these decisions on his own. First of all, I don't trust Tony Khan. I don't. Tony Khan's not making these decisions on his own. I don't know who's in his ear. I don't know if it's somebody in his inner circle, Brian, Jericho, a collective of people backstage finally getting to him. I don't know if he's finally smartened up and now listening to criticisms and taking advice from people and hearing from other people's perspectives. I don't know. If that is the case, God bless him. Finally, someone got to him. Because television has been terrible. Television for the last 3 shows have been much better. Now we'll see if they can continue that going into Revolution. But something like this, I mean, I don't know what took so long. Ricky Starks, you added a option year to his contract when he didn't want it. You did it out of spite. Miro has been, I mean, the last time I physically saw Miro wrestle was at World's End in 2023. We haven't seen him since. The fuck has he done? He spent all of 2024 out, and nothing happened with Miro. Now, all of a sudden, he wakes up on Monday this year, says, you know what? I'm gonna release Miro. What the fuck took you so long? What took you so long? Tony's not making these decisions on his own. Someone is giving him some advice, whether it's someone there, someone that we may not even be thinking of, someone that may not even be working with the company. Maybe he's working with an advisor of sorts. Maybe Meltzer, of all people, has gotten to his fucking brain. Maybe, I don't want to throw conspiracies out there. Scott D'Amore is backstage. Is Scott D'Amore working with AEW in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity as an advisor to Tony Khan? Is Scott D'Amore working with AEW? Scott D'Amore the one giving Tony Khan these murmurs of what to do and what not to do? I don't know. But it's a good thing that someone has finally gotten to him. He's finally woken up. The negativity that is going to remain with Rey Fenix or whoever else is still on that roster that Tony's keeping hostage for whatever reason and doesn't want to be there regardless. The negativity that is going to fester by you waiting and being petty and being just outright evil to these performers. Just let them go. Just let them go. There's no amount of money that they give a shit about. They want to be free. They want to go and wrestle. They want to do what they want to do. The mental strain on them is taxing. They don't give a shit about the fucking money that they're making on the back end to sit at home. I'm sure it's great, but at the end of the day, all these people want to do is wrestle. You don't get into the wrestling business to make money and make money only. You get into the wrestling business to feel the energy and have that moment and fucking create. That's why people get into the wrestling industry. The money comes when you create. The money comes when you're great at what you do. The money comes when you're fucking busting your ass to be the very best at what you do. If you got into pro wrestling to make money and make money only, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Just like people tell me, JD, how do I become a content creator? How do I get to where you are? If you make content for the sake of wanting to make money, you've already failed. You do it because you love it. You do it because you have a passion for it. That's why I did it. And you work your ass off to get where you get, and then everything comes. You get paid, you get sponsorships, you get fan recognition, you get everything that comes along with it, whether it's good or bad. Simple. Tony cannot let these problems fester anymore. He can't. So I don't know who's talking to him, but whoever it is deserves a fucking raise because they did the one thing that everybody's been begging for it to happen. Somebody got to Tony Khan. I don't think he's making these decisions on his own. I don't. And good for him for making these decisions finally. And whoever else is after Rey Fenix, Wardlow, Keith Lee, whoever else is there that doesn't want to be there, Sammy Guevara, I don't know. I mean, there's a laundry list of people that probably don't want to be there, that's not being used, that are creatively unsatisfied. Seriously. So that is my take on that. I'll keep you guys posted on Rey Fenix. Another thing in regards to the Rey Fenix situation that nobody is mentioning, you know, when Vince did his cleaning house of NXT and we got, unfortunately, the birth of NXT 2.0, he fired all of Triple H's guys, Keith Lee, Malachi Black, Andrade, you know, all these guys that Tony just scooped up instantaneously when they were free and clear to go and do whatever they wanted. He brought them into AEW. He didn't have all the creative manpower to get these people on television in meaningful ways at the same time. They languished, they sat around, some made it to TV, some didn't, some felt important, some didn't. Vince released a whole bunch of talent in hopes Tony would scoop them up and then become bloated, and it would have an adverse effect on AEW's business, on television, payroll-wise, creativity-wise, what we see on TV-wise. Vince used it as a way. I'm cutting payroll, but you know, I'm throwing blood in the water here, and this fucking shark, Tony Khan's going to scoop them all up. He's going to have a nice field day. He's going to feast. And then he's going to hurt and harm his own roster because of his fucking starry eyes. Man, it's like a kid in a candy store. Is Tony Khan doing the same thing here? Is he releasing these talents in hopes Triple H picks him up? Because Triple H has that blood in the water mentality, man. That he's got that glimmer in his eye, the little kid in the candy store mentality. Is he going to scoop up all these talents, overload his roster, and then have them fail because there's not enough TV time to go around, there's not enough creativity to go around, everybody's going to get on Triple H for not using this talent? Is Tony Khan using it as a tactic to get back at Triple H and have any negativity come toward Triple H? I don't know. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I don't really shy away from a nice conspiracy every now and then. Who's to say that Tony's not playing the game that Triple H and Vince McMahon played with him? Just a little food for thought. I'm glad that Phoenix could be on his way out of AEW, and as soon as that happens, he'll be in WWE as quickly as Ricky Starks was on Tuesday night. Speaking of letting people go, Dave Meltzer is reporting that the names that WWE let go last week, including Elektra Lopez, Giovanni Vinci, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Isla Dawn, Cedric Alexander, AOP, Paul Ellering, Sonya Deville, Duke Hudson. He reports that none would be considered shocks, but from those in the company, Deville was a surprise, and an extent, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, if only because Carl Anderson was injured, and they usually don't cut wrestlers while still recovering from surgery. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. Something went wrong somewhere. The fact that Carl Anderson still has at least 3 or 4 months of full recovery time, they let him go while injured. It's almost as if, well, you're going to come back and we're not going to have anything for you, so we're going to let you go. We'll pay for your rehabilitation. We'll do whatever. But go. Goodbye. There's no use for them. So they let them go. I hope it's just that and that alone. Cutting somebody while injured and doing it the way that WWE did it on the surface level sounds fucking bad. It looks terrible. It looks terrible. I feel bad for Carl. Now he's out with a job. Now he's out with no job. Out of a job. So he's still injured. I'm sure that's double as bad to him. He's out injured. He gets fired. I mean, just a bad look all around. Sonya Deville, I'm not really surprised by. The company's moved on from Sonya Deville. She did not progress in the ring. She was not very good at all. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. She was not good. WWE's got how many women on the NXT side of things that they could replace with Sonya Deville 20 times over? If they're not progressing and they're not getting the reactions that they expected by putting them in a new group, then goodbye. Cut your ties, move on. They at least told her, listen, we're not going to bring you back. We're going to let your contract expire. You can go and work wherever you want as soon as it's over. Goodbye. They didn't tack a 90-day. They didn't tack injury time. They didn't tack any other time on top of her contract. They said, goodbye. Let's call a spade a spade. She wasn't good. Pure Fusion garbage, Bed Bath & Beyond, Crate and Barrel Collective is not fucking good. They're boring. They didn't make television better. Every time they were on TV, I got up and did something else. It was a collective of women that had no creative, and WWE said, we got nothing for these 3 women. Let's throw them in a group together. So it's times 3 as bad. They love Zoe. I don't know what her future holds. I could see Shayna walking out, too. Whenever her contract's up, I could see her in AEW. I could see her going back to the Indies. They haven't done anything with her. The name I'm pissed about is Giovanni Vinci. That's the one name out of all these names that I'm pissed about. Never given an opportunity. Broke up Imperium for no fucking reason while they were the best pound-for-pound tag team in WWE. Gave him a new gimmick. He didn't even get an opportunity to give us a sense of it. Great pro wrestler. I don't know how you don't put him in a U.S. title, Intercontinental title picture. That's the one. I'm not surprised by it, but it's the one that angers me the most. So, yes, Sonya Deville is one of the names that, according to Meltzer, along with Gallows and Anderson, came as a surprise to many backstage in WWE. And speaking of free agents, returns, keeping the deal here as we round out today's episode, WWE Creative has discussed plans for Malachi and a possible return from Miro. Malachi Black, Miro, Ricky Starks, all gone from AEW. Ricky Starks is officially with WWE. Malachi is all but confirmed for WWE, and Miro is the big question mark, but he looks to be on his way to WWE once again as well. Miro had been making 7 figures in AEW after signing a deal in September 2020. That was set to expire in the spring of 22. He then would go on to sign a 4-year extension. Gee, man, that money must have been fucking great that he decided to re-sign for another 4 years. Previously reported by Wade Keller of the PW Torch, some influential people in WWE are big fans of Black and see him as a potential top singles act in the company. Those close to him said that Black felt he was more palatable with Paul Levesque in charge of creative than Vince McMahon, clearly, and that he never developed a rapport with Tony Khan. In the latest edition of the Observer newsletter, Meltzer reported that Miro and Black are believed to be back in WWE soon. Meltzer says the belief is that Black and Miro will be in WWE soon. It wouldn't surprise me to also see CJ Perry back involved with Miro, but that's less of a definite. Those in WWE had said creative had been talking about Black and Miro as well. Now we know Black is going to be integrated. We don't know what way he's going to be integrated. I would presume he's going to SmackDown, being that Zelina Vega just got moved from Raw to SmackDown. So I think that's going to be his landing spot. Plus, SmackDown could use some fresh talent. At 3 hours for this experiment that is 3 hour SmackDowns, Black is going to find a nice spot for himself on Friday nights, and I hope that's the case because that show needs something, because right now it's the worst fucking show of the week. It's so boring. But Miro, he's a big question mark. I don't know where Miro goes. Black, creatively, SmackDown, Chad Gable potentially. Gable's on excursion, learning the dark arts of Lucha Libre. I don't know if that pertains to Black. We'll see. That could be very interesting if that's the case. I could see him in the United States title picture. I could see him in the main event scene. The report says Triple H sees him as a top guy. We'll see what happens there. The top of the scene on SmackDown could use some heavy hitters, being that Roman probably moved to Monday Night Raw. Cody's now on SmackDown. They got Punk over on Raw. McIntyre is over on SmackDown. They need some top names. He could be a top name. Miro, I could see going to Raw. I would love to see the Redeemer gimmick back in WWE. I think that was his best body of work in AEW. I'd like to see an extension of that in WWE. Whether it is with Lana, I don't really care. I would say no if you asked me. No Lana. I would pair Miro with Sheamus. They are neighbors. They're real-life best friends. They just posted a picture on social media this past week with them drinking a Guinness after the release, the news of his release. So clearly they were celebrating. I would love to see them together in a tag team similar to what Sheamus had with Cesaro in the bar. I would like to see that. Now, you're probably saying, well, JD, what about Sheamus in the IC championship? Sheamus just signed a new 5-year contract with WWE. Why are we going to take the one story that Sheamus has and run through it in year one? Because it's WrestleMania. He needs it. He's chasing the IC title. Good. We got 4 other years. We got 4.5 years to tell that story. Why run through it now? Tag team with Miro would be fucking great. We need tag teams. We need legitimate tag teams. I just got done saying, let's pair Ethan Page and Josh Alexander together in the North. Tag team wrestling should be built up. If we have an opportunity to do that and legitimize the division, take it. We don't need to tell Sheamus and Braun Breaker this year at WrestleMania. We can wait for WrestleMania in 26 or 27 or 28 for Sheamus to win the Intercontinental Championship. They got options this year for Braun Breaker. It doesn't need to be Sheamus. They just teased Penta a couple weeks ago. They teased AJ Styles this past Monday. I would take that as a replacement for Sheamus. Breaker versus Styles? Who's going to say no to that? I think Breaker and Styles is a great substitute while you bring Sheamus and Miro together and legitimize the tag team division. I think that'd be great. So we'll see what happens. But right now, creators being discussed for both. Black is all but certain. Miro, a little bit more of a question mark, but they could both be on their way to WWE, man. So I will keep you guys posted on that. Exciting times ahead here. We got a little bit of a roster reshuffle for both AEW and WWE. And this is the nature of the business. This is not, oh my God, I can't support them now because they're going to the enemy team. You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. This is great for the business. This is how the business thrives. This is how everybody stays fresh. And this is exciting for us podcasters and us fans to see both companies trade talent back and forth. Man, fresh starts for everybody, especially with a new administration in WWE run by Triple H. Thank you guys very much for all your support. I will be back with more news this week. If you did enjoy this video, a couple of things you can do for me that don't really take much effort at all. One, hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell for notifications. Stay in the loop right here on Off the Scripts. Anytime we upload, you will be notified. Secondly, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you guys do that. And third, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of today's top stories. You do those last 2 things, it helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. Go check out all the content on the channel. There is plenty of it with more to come this weekend. And I will be back right here with more news this weekend on Off the Scripts. I'll see you guys later.